Picture this. You're a merchant in 13th century Central Asia. You need to travel 3,000 miles across the wild steppe. It's cold, you have no government, no police. How do you know who to trust? How do you even survive?
The answer lies in what Yuval Harari calls imagined orders, shared beliefs that exist only because people collectively believe in them. Look at this inscription of Tony Cook, for example. Artifacts like that were significant in creation of imagined orders. In his book Sapiens, Harari argues these invisible systems enabled massive cooperation across human societies.
But how exactly did this work in the vast steppes of Eurasia? Today we'll explore three theories, examine the evidence and see what the artifacts themselves tell us.
Hey, what's happening?
I don't agree with him. My theory argues that shared stories and myths were the key in connecting tribes across the thousands of miles.
Look at this inscription. It traces lineages back to legendary ancestors that different tribes all claim to share. Whether these genealogies were historically accurate didn't matter. What mattered was that everyone believed them.
This shared fiction created what Benedict Anderson called imaginated communities. A Mongol warrior in China could meet a distant cousin in Persia and immediately establish trust through common ancestry. The story itself became the infrastructure of cooperation.
But my theory says forget the story. Geography, trade, military necessity drove cooperation.
This trade could tell a different story. Silk Road merchants needed practical partnerships. They cooperated because the ecology of the steppe, scattered oases, seasonal pastures, mountain passes, forces interdependence. Limited resources meant you had to share grazing lands. Long distance meant you needed allies. War meant you need military coalitions. The material world shaped social bonds, not musical genealogies. Trust followed trade routes, not family trees.
No need to fight, guys. Theory 3 offers a more complex picture because symbols do not work without real power.
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Take this paisa, for example. This paisa is a representative of imperial authority, but imperial authority is meaningless without military force, economic resources, and bureaucratic system. This paisa is a representative of a modern passport that shows off your status.
Let's test this theory with a specific example. The Mongol Yam system, the world's largest postal network. The Yam stretched from Korea to Eastern Europe. The messengers could ride 6,000 miles knowing they'd get fresh horses, food and protection at relay stations. But how did this work? Look at these paisa tokens. It creates symbolic authority, invoking the Great Han, sometimes in multiple languages. But one theory alone cannot explain it. A piece of metal with writings doesn't guarantee cooperation.
The second theory has part of the answer. The Yam followed trade routes, connected resource stations, and served military needs. But material factors alone cannot explain why people honored these paisa tokens across such vast distances. But the truth combined all three theories. The Yam worked because it combined symbolic authority, practical needs, and material enforcement. The token carried imperial legitimacy, served real communication needs, and was backed by an army that would punish anyone who ignored it. Remove any one element and the system collapses. Theories weren't enough by themselves. They needed material backing and material support. Second, geography and resources shaped which imagined orders could survive. And third, these systems were fragile, so they worked until they didn't.
For example, when Mongol military power declined, the Yam system collapsed. When trade routes shifted, old alliances dissolved. When environmental pressures changed, tribal confederation reorganized.
So you may ask, what's the lesson after all? What's the lesson?
Alright, what's the lesson?
So the lesson is, human cooperation required both shared beliefs and material foundation. Stories can connect
strangers together across vast distances, but only if these stories align with practical interests. In the steppe, after all, as everywhere else, trust was built through the delicate balance of myth, resources, and power.